I'm jealous of racists. Because they're wrong, but they're confident. Like, racists are the most wrong. How can you be that wrong about something and that sure of yourself? If you're a racist, you're wrong about pretty much everything, but you never see a racist who's not confident. You never see someone who's like, white power, if that's okay. You never see that. I'm not. I'm like most non-racist white people. I'm terrified of people who aren't white. Not like they're gonna hurt me or anything, but I'm terrified that I'm gonna fuck up and say something wrong. Right, like the whole time you talk to a black person, you're preoccupied. It's like talking to someone with food on their face. You're like, you're black. Like the whole time. The whole time. You get nervous. It's like you're meeting a movie star. You're like, that's cool. Some of my best friends are Johnny Depp's. Like, you have no idea. So the whole time you talk to a black person, you got this little voice in your head going, okay, calm down. Okay, you're talking to a black person. This is not a drill. Calm down. You're not your uncle. You're not a racist. Okay, now, make eye contact with the black person. Okay, you're making eye contact with the black person. Stop thinking the black person, that's fucking racist. Okay, now, let the black person know that it's okay that they're black. Did you just think that it's okay that they're black? You fucking racist piece of shit. Why do you cut holes in a pillowcase right now? Calm down. Okay, now, stop thinking about Kanye. Stop thinking about Kanye. Now, all right, talk to the black person. Oh, shit, the black person has stopped talking. Say something to the black person. Don't mention the fact that they're black, you racist piece of shit. Say something, don't say he's black. He's like, hey, I'm Dave. Hey, you're black. Fuck, shit. Fist bump, high five. I'm so sorry. Can I pay for your meal? Calm down, Whitey. Black people know they're black, and if they don't know, unfortunately, the cops will remind them. You're not gonna accidentally be a racist. You can accidentally say racist shit. That happens all the time. You know, you fuck up. You're at a dinner party with your boss. There's a pause in the conversation. You panic and say, fuck the Mexicans. And he's like, yeah, fuck the Mexicans. High five. Now you work at Nestle. I get it. But in reality, real racism and bigotry come from two places. One, fear because you don't understand something, so you fucking hate it. But that doesn't make sense, because I don't understand theoretical physics, but I never once called up Stephen Hawking going, roll out of town, Criplo! Like, I don't know how electricity doesn't just fall out of the outlets in the wall. How does electricity stay in the fucking holes in the wall? They won't answer that question at Home Depot. That's a legitimate fucking question. But I didn't flip out, grow a neck beard, join an Amish gang, and start front-kicking washing machines. I was like, oh yeah, I just don't understand shit. And the other thing is you gotta mock another race of people to feel better about yourself, but that doesn't work for me because I'm a white guy. So no matter what you say about any other race, white people have done way worse shit. Like, I was at a bus stop the other day and there was an old white guy reading a paper. Like, what are you, a time traveler? Get an iPad. Anyway, so he's reading the paper and he sees that I'm white too, so he leans over and he goes, Chinese people are buying all the houses. And I'm like, yeah, at least they're paying for the land they take. I like that because people are like, I don't know, okay. Because I get it. It's fucked up when a white guy talks about race, because it's never, here's your shit back, sorry. It's always like, oh, look, that was a long time ago. The Olympics and basketball. Do you want your own month? Like, I get it. I get it. And I am a white, straight male, so theoretically I'm the man, but I'm fat, so that takes the edge off, you know what I mean? Can't hold down another race of people. I can't hold down my heart rate when I eat lasagna. Are you out of your fucking mind? Some guy said to me, he's like, you think you're better than me? No, fuck it. If I'm the best, we're fucked. We are fucked. I spent 4 hours the other day walking around my apartment with no pants on saying cottage cheese in Sean Connery's voice because I thought it was hilarious. I'm not kidding. 4 hours of cottage cheese, cottage cheese. I didn't even close the blinds. And like I said, I get that the way the climate is right now, it's always uncomfortable. You know, as a white guy, too, I don't want to accidentally be misunderstood. I don't want to actually hurt anyone's feelings. I don't want to accidentally come across as racist or sexist. I can only control what I say, not what people hear. People can interpret things the way they want, but I don't want to risk ever upsetting anybody. So to avoid accidentally being racist or sexist, I only hang out with white men. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be racist. So me and these other white guys, we have these little get-togethers. We don't do it in our houses. We don't want to offend our families with our toxic masculinity. So what we have is, I guess they're bonfires in the woods. Anyway, me and these other white guys, and we're so ashamed of being white guys, we cover our faces with these, I didn't accidentally join the Klan, guys, don't worry. Like, we should tell them. The Klan, too. Like, white power is ridiculous, but the Klan's what's representing it. If you're so powerful, you tub of shit, how come you're hiding your face? Hey, put down the basketball. Why? Oh, shit, they are stronger than us. Like, what's the entrance exam for the Klan? Hey, is you retarded? Check. You in a cut holes in your good sheets? Check. Well, come on down to a barbecue in the woods and blame Puerto Ricans for why you married the wrong woman. It's the dumbest fucking thing. I think mentally handicapped people probably see racists as, like, subtarded. They're like, this guy thinks that black guys do all the crime. Don't lend him your good balloons. You know, like... It's just a stupid thing. Because if you hate people for shit they can't change, you're lazy, right? Like, if you hate people for their gender, ethnicity, sexual orientation, that's just lazy hate. Like, everyone in here has 5 legitimate reasons to hate their guts, but it's too hard to get to know people to hate them. You want to hate them now. You're in a hurry. It's the 90s. I know it's not the 90s. But you do. You want to hate them now, so people go, I hate Bob. Why? Bob's Korean. No, you hate Bob because he's always hitting on your girlfriend. He wears those fucking purple shoes that squeak all the time, always chewing with his mouth and always squeezing fruit in the supermarket. You don't have to squeeze bananas, Bob. If they're yellow, they're fucking ripe. That's my own thing. I'm just saying. If Hitler had 6 million different reasons, you'd at least admire the research. That's all I'm saying. If Hitler was like, I hate the Jews. Why, Hitler? Chaim takes my parking spot on Wednesday. Joel cheats at checkers. You'd be like, well, he's confident. You know? I think Hitler started out as an insult comic in Berlin in the 30s, and it just got way the fuck out of hand. You get like Don Rickles of Berlin. Like, what's your name? Goldberg? This guy's name is Goldberg. What do you do? A banker? Goldberg's a Jew. Is a banker. He has all your money. And you can say what you want about Hitler, but he did all that before social media. There was no Twitler. He was out there at the end of the show with his mailing list and his merch booth with his stick-on mustaches for the kids and his armbands getting progressively more angry. Nobody's buying the books, you know? How much do you want to bet the first line of Mein Kampf was originally, I don't want to sound racist, but... And there's page after page. And it is, it's genetics. Like, I took one of those AncestryDNA.com tests to see what jokes I can get away with. And a friend of mine says to me, he's like, those ancestry tests are great, because everyone's gonna know what they are, so no one will be racist anymore. Yeah, because racists always listen to science. What are you, fucking stupid? And it's basically just an entertainment thing. Like, have you seen that commercial for one of those with a woman standing next to her husband? I thought I married an Italian. Turns out this fuckwit's Slovenian. It's not his fault, all right? He still has Camaro payments and plastic on his furniture. Leave him the fuck alone. His life's not gonna change. It's not like he's gonna open that envelope. I wonder what part of Italy I'm from. The Ukraine. And like a Skoda pulls up. 4 guys with gray uniforms get up, knock him on the head. 9 days later, he's selling boiled potatoes out of a mud shack in the Crimea. I was living a lie the whole time. No. And I don't want to be... I'm also not trying to virtue signal. I'm not trying to be one of those people that says white people are the only racist. That's not true either. Ironically, the one thing that all races do is all races are racist. That's the one thing we're all shitty together. Like, my ex-girlfriend was Japanese. Probably still is. I don't think she found a lamp or some shit, but... And this was before the internet when I was dating her, and she enlightened me to all this racial tension in Asia. I didn't know about that. So, like, white people are not the only racists. We're just the best at it, because we're white, we're good at shit, so people get nervous. I know you don't know what to do. You're like, well, they are pretty good at racism. We are. This is how good white people are at racism. You know how most cities have, like, a Chinatown, or a little Tokyo, or a little Saigon, but they have white guy town? You know why? Never fucking stops at just town, that's why. So it's a bunch of white people show up and go, this place is lovely, and then pumpkin spice everything. No. You gotta treat white people like cancer. Before they metastasize, you gotta get them. They get off a cruise ship in your village, all potato-shaped in their flip-flops. You're like, this is fucking, you should take these back just so we can get them. Otherwise, you'll end up working for Amazon where the Amazon used to be. No, don't trust Whitey. Like, I don't know what white privilege is, but I'm pretty sure it's the name of one of my dad's boats. What an asshole move that would be to name your boat the White Privilege. Can you imagine? It's a big white Mississippi paddle wheeler with coal smoke coming out the top. Come on board the White Privilege. Enjoy the banjo music. Your vote actually matters. Just whiten it up. Look. Here's what white privilege is, because people say to me, they're like, well, I don't have white privilege, I'm broke. That's not what white privilege is. What white privilege is that I don't think about my race. It never comes into my head, unless I'm doing particularly difficult stand-up comedy material in front of people who are worried I might say the N-word. I'm not gonna say it. Just a little shot. But it doesn't come into my head because it's not forced into my face every day. It's not something that's given to me as a division between other people, but mainstream media pushes that division for other races. Like, there's this network I'm not allowed to name, but it rhymes with ox ooze. You'll have to guess. And they might as well come on and be like, if you see a black person, they might have a gun. Black person, gun. Are you seeing this? Bring the kids in. We're programming voters. Black person, gun. If you see a Mexican, they could be a rapist. Mexican, rapist, black person, gun. Are you afraid yet? Black person, gun, Mexican. I'm a white, straight male. I ain't afraid of shit. Like, other races may physically harm you, which is fucking adorable. I'll steal your grandchildren's hope. I'll fucking ransack your culture for everything I find that I take. Indian headdress? I'm going to a music festival. Don't mind if I do. Waha! I saw an ad on a bus that said, text this number to help child workers in foreign countries. I sent them $3 from the fucking iPhone they made, and then I felt really good about myself. Good for you, Whitey. You earned your pad thai. You're a good person. My friend said to me, he's like, you can't talk about slavery anymore. Slavery's not a thing anymore. More people enslaved around the world now than ever before in human history. We just don't fucking care anymore because it's over there. That's all it is. Not in our backyard anymore. We don't give a shit. We walk around and go, well, we don't have human rights problems in developed nations. We have hashtags and Priuses. But like, hey, Vietnam, you don't have labor laws, right? Yeah, don't worry, send that shit over. Diddy-mow, motherfucker! And we bury our head in the sand and pretend slavery's not happening anymore just because no one made a movie called 12 Years an Apple Employee. So I can cruise around. Not realizing the iPhone numbers, iPhone 6, 7, 8, that's not the model number. That's the age of the kid that made it. Yeah, that means iPhone 14s are gonna be amazing because the hand-eye coordination in early adolescence puts the quality through the roof. Plus, they're too big to chuck themselves to their death out of the factory window, so employee turnover goes down. I wrote these jokes on a Mac. People think technology is gonna save us. Like my buddy said, he's like, yeah, Simon, I know that we're not perfect, but look how much we've advanced in the 15 years since the internet's really been a thing. 15 years ago, we weren't nearly as advanced as we weren't nearly as moral, and that's true. And then he says to me, imagine if we had the internet 150 years ago, how advanced we'd be. No, because we were shittier fucking people 150 years ago. If we had the internet 150 years ago, we would have been using Tinder to pick slaves. Like, this guy's nearby, check this guy out, small box, boo. Are you shitting me? They couldn't desegregate water fountains until the 1960s. You want to see, think in the 1860s, there would have been one Google for all races combined? No fucking way. There would have been white Google and black Google, and those would have been fundamentally different web surfing experiences, I'll tell you that shit. Going, white Google, hey, white Google, I think I want to learn about astronomy. Did you mean Galileo? Thanks, white Google. Hey, black Google, I think I want to learn about astronomy. I think you meant chicken. I didn't mean chicken, you racist fucking Google. And turn off location services. I'm planning an underground trip to Canada. It's a Harriet Tubman joke. You don't get a lot of those. And that's the thing about it, too, is we gotta not be as judgmental about it either. It's important that we modify our behaviors. It's important we grow, but it's also important that we understand people need to grow. Because there's nothing more fun than being judgmental, but we've all got fucking windows in our house, right? So put down your pocket full of stones. Like, you know, you're in a car, and someone cuts you off, and you say something dumb. It just comes out of your head, and you're like, fuck, why the fuck did I do that? I don't mean that. That's not how I feel. It just fucking came out of my mouth. I mean, you know what? I gotta learn. I understand. I gotta do some soul searching, and then your passenger's like, yeah, totally. There's a lot of them. You're like, well, this guy's a fucking racist. You know what I mean? It's part of the environment you're raised in, and it's okay that you're learning to grow outside of that. And that's what we have to do collectively, because racism is everywhere. It's even in expressions, like, black people don't age. Yeah, because cops keep shooting them. It's hard to go with a bullet in the back of your fucking head. I did that joke once, and a guy's like, we don't shoot all of them, and you wonder how the fuck the world is burning. So how do we solve the problem, Simon? I'll tell you how we solve the problem. If you don't want racism, stop raising your kids to be racist. Solves the problem in one generation. Yeah, that's it. No baby's born racist. They're made racist because their parents were made racist because their parents were made racist. So just don't fucking raise your kid to be a racist. But that's hard. Because now you gotta tell your kid the truth as to why you don't have as much nice shit as the Brown family down the street. And you don't wanna look like a fucking loser in front of your 10-year-old. You don't want him to come up to you and go, Dad, how come Amir's family has that in-ground pool? We have that shitty above-ground pool. They have that brand new truck, and our house has wheels. Can you fucking explain to me? You had every advantage. Why the fuck don't we have as much nice shit as they have? And you have to be like, honestly, I smoked a lot of weed in high school and I knocked up your mom. I like her now. At the time, you didn't fucking like her. Anyway, I fell off a forklift, I fucked in my back. The point is, don't have dreams. Instead, you're like, I don't know, they're brown, and you fuck off and watch football, and you built a racist. Don't do it. And you're like, Simon, if we get rid of racism, are we gonna get rid of hate? Nope. We're humans. What are we gonna not hate? That's our favorite fucking thing. We'll just hate something else. We'll just hate Steves. Oh, fucking Steves moved into my neighborhood with their goddamn fucking Steve music. Why do so many Steves live in one house? I guess it's cultural. Don't get me wrong. I'm friends with a couple of Steves at work, but if my daughter ever brought a fucking Steve home, she's out of that goddamn will. Sometimes I roll down the window of my pickup truck and yell, "You dirty Steve-O!" Let him know who's boss. Fuck, I think I'll join the Ku Klux Dan. It's the stupidest. It's the dumbest thing.